Hi friends, welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is Git Top 85 interview question answer series with code snippets, and I'm sure that if you go through this 85 questions, you will be able to answer any question that an interviewer will ask you on Git. Not only for interview questions, this series will help you learn Git if you are going through end to end. With that being said, let's get started. This is part of the full stack interview question answer series pack that I have launched. It covers all these technologies that are listed with all these tracks covered with code snippets and detailed answers. You can get it at arctutorials.gumroad.com. All the PDFs are included as part of the full stack interview question answer series. Alright, let's get started with the question number 1. What is Git? Git is a distributed version control system that helps in tracking changes in source code during software development. It allows multiple developers to work on the same project repo simultaneously. What is the difference between Git and SVN? Git is a distributed version control system, which means every developer will have a full copy of the repository. SVN, which is Subversion, is a centralized version control system where a single repository exists. That means Git will allow developers to work offline, whereas SVN will require constant access to the central repository in order to update it. Make sure that you get the difference between Git and SVN correct, because this is one of the most basic questions that is often asked. What is a repository in Git? A repo or a repository in Git is where all the source code, all the project files are included along with the version history that is stored. Git repository can be a local one or a remote one. You can create a local repository and work in your local system, or create a remote branch and then make changes there. How do you initialize a Git repository? You can initialize a Git repository in a directory by running the command git init. Obviously, before you run it, you will need to have the Git software installed, which you can get it from git-scm.org. This creates a new .git directory that tracks all the changes in the repo that you are making either in local or in the remote branch. What is the purpose of git clone? Git clone is used to create a copy of a remote repository on your local machine. By running the command git clone, we are telling that copy the entire repository into a local version. So when you run the command, you will give git space clone space the link to the git repository, basically, that you can get it from the Bitbucket or GitHub or Stash or whichever git repository you're working with. What is the difference between git pull and git fetch? Git pull will fetch the changes from the remote repository and automatically merge them into the local repository. Git fetch only fetches the changes from the remote repository without merging them. Now, this is a very important difference often asked in interview. So remember, whenever you say git pull, it will bring all the changes from the remote repository and automatically merge them into your local repository. Git fetch will only fetch the changes from the Git repository without merging them. But again, if there are any merge conflicts, git pull and git fetch will throw that merge changes error. How do you check the status of your files in Git? So you can check the status of your working directory and staging area by running the command git space status. This would give you what files were added, which were modified, which were deleted. What does the command git add do? Git add adds the changes in the working directory to the staging area, preparing them to be committed. So let's say we made changes in the file .txt and we are ready to commit it. That's where we'll run the command git add file.txt or any extension file that you're working on, basically. What is the purpose of git commit? Git commit saves the staged changes to the repository's history. This is where actually you're pushing your changes from your local to the repository. Each commit is identified by a unique hash, which is a unique identifier. The way you do it is, first you do the git add, you add the files that needs to be committed. Then you will run the command git space commit -m, which is for message, and then you will write the message, whatever message that particular changes is about. So remember, if you just do a git add, it will not do anything, it will not push the code, it will only commit and move it to staging area. But when you run the command git commit, that's when it will save the stage changes to the repository. That means it will push your changes to the repository's history. What does git push do? Git push will upload local commits to a remote repository. So this is where actually your code gets moved to the repository. So three steps to remember. Git add tells that which files, which local files you have modified, which ones to move into staging area. Once you run, after git add, you run the command git commit. What it does is that you're telling that these are the changes that needs to be pushed to the remote history, repository's history. Git push is the actual command which will upload all the local commits to a remote repository. So remember these three steps: git add, git commit, and then git push. That's all in this episode. I'll continue this series. Make sure that you get your all the PDFs of all these technologies, over 2000 plus interview question answer series with code snippet. All of these PDFs are available as part of full stack interview question answer series. You can get it at arctutorials.gumroad.com. We'll see you in the next part. Make sure you go through each part in order to master Git and answer any question that is asked on Git. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next episode.